Radio Show.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the 25th Hour Radio Show here on Monster Radio AM 1150. I am your host, Rob Fairless, and on the phone with me today is multi-platinum selling vocalist and guitarist Eric Bloom from rock band Blue Öyster Cult. Eric, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to join me on the show.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thanks again for being on. Eric, I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume most everyone listening to the show today has heard of Blue Öyster Cult and is very familiar with your music. Now, that being said, just because they're familiar and love the music doesn't necessarily mean they know much about the band members. And that's where I come in, Eric, just trying to bridge that gap. So if you don't mind, let's time travel back a few years. What first got you interested in music enough that you wanted to start creating it yourself?
Goes back to listening to AM radio out of New York City back in the late 50s.
Now, what made you first start wanting to pick up a guitar and start creating that music yourself?
I think I just wanted to, I think I saw, all the acts of the day. I think what really, I never wanted to really be a guitar player. I just knew I wanted to try and be in a band, about during the British invasion, and had a college roommate who was in a band, and had a living room full of instruments because he was in a band. And one thing led to another over my college career in the mid-'60s.
Now, I read somewhere that you like to keep a hold of things, like you have like an old Commodore 64 or something like that. I don't know how true that is.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's true. So cool. I mean, do you still own your very first guitar?
No. I sold it a long time ago.
Now, were you self-taught or were you, or did you have lessons on the guitar?
No, not really. Yeah, self-taught. But, I'm not really much of a musician. I'm more of a front man.
So as far as being that front man in a band, when did you first realize or come to know that you had the chops, man? You had the pipes to be able to be a singer in a band?
Well, I had a college roommate, and he was in a band, and I was sort of pushing my way in. And one day, a guy in college walked in our apartment and said, I'm in charge of this fraternity party, and if we could put a band together, we could each make $50. So I said, let's throw a band together. And so reluctantly, they included me, and that was 1965.
Eric, I know a lot of good guitarists. I know a lot of good singers who never joined a band because they just don't like playing in front of people, let alone playing and singing in front of people. Have you always had that type of personality where you thrived in those types of situations, or was performing in front of an audience something that took you a while to get comfortable with?
No, I jumped right in. I wasn't afraid to grab a mic and fall down on the ground and act like James Brown.
So how did the band Blue Öyster Cult come into existence, and how did you guys end up getting signed to that label?
To make that story short, I moved from upstate New York, where I was in college. After graduation, I moved down to Long Island, where I got a job at a music store, and some guys walked in to buy some gear, and we started chatting. Turned out to be a band, and one of the guys in their band was a guy I went to school with. And once one thing led to another, I had a PA from one of my college bands, and I did sound for them one night. And to move the story along, I had a van, I had a PA, and they hired me to work with them for a while. And then 4 months later, they let the singer go and heard some tapes that I did in my college days and asked me to be the singer. And that was the beginning of what became Blue Öyster Cult.
Now, do you remember the first time you heard a Blue Öyster Cult song on the radio? I mean, that's always a huge deal for a band.
Yes, I do. Yeah, we were sitting in a car, and a DJ in New York played Cities on Flame off our first record. It was pretty exciting to actually, hear one of our songs on the radio for the first time.
And here we are, 40 something years later. The band's still going strong. You're still touring heavy. That's a true testament of a great band. Congratulations on that. Now, since you have such a huge volume of material already, as a songwriter, do you still find yourself writing songs as much as you would in the earlier years, or has time and the success of the band changed your thought process on that? I mean, you really don't have to write new music anymore.
Well, the economy of the record business has changed. Used to be you'd be under the gun to put out a record once a year, and we did. From 72 to 83, 84, we made a record every year. And that was tough because to make a living, you had to go on tour. So we were writing songs in hotel rooms. We just have to rush into the studio, make a record in like 4 or 5 weeks, and then jump out on the road just to pay our bills. So it was a different thing, those days than today. These days, of course, the record business is very different. It's vinyl is not necessary. Cassettes are gone. CDs are almost gone. Everything's streaming and internet and cloud. It's all a very different business.
Now, when you're out on the road these days, are you seeing a wide range of age groups coming to see you perform?
Well, we play all kinds of different shows. We might play a casino one day, or a city fest downtown another day, or a big festival another day, or we're going on a big tour of Europe starting about June 16th, Belgium and Germany, playing big metal fests. So all kinds of different shows.
Now, is it sort of surreal that the band's music can connect with new listeners, generation after generation?
Well, I don't have much perspective on that because I'm not a fan, so you'd have to ask a BOC fan what they think, or a young person what they think. But my perspective is, we really do stuff that new bands don't do. So if a young person doesn't care for current today music, and they hear us and they say, we're a guitar driven band. We have 3 guitar players, and most, current musical acts just don't have that. So it's if you like that kind of thing, we have it.
Now, are you a social media guy? Have you embraced that means of communicating with your fans?
Well, I do. I have a Facebook page, and I'm on Instagram. I don't use Instagram so much. I have a Twitter handle, but I hardly ever use it. I'm not really. Yeah, I leave that to the younger guys. I like the New York Mets. I like space things and airplane things and cars and all kinds of different things. So I talk more about that than musical things.
Man, I don't want to really take up any more of your time today. Is there anything you'd like to mention I might not have brought up, or any words out there for your fans that are listening who have supported you throughout the years?
Well, we are currently working up a lot of material from our first record, stuff we haven't played in a long time. So if people want to hear that stuff we haven't played in 30, 40 years, come on down.
Well, Eric, once again, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to join me on the show. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Good luck on the tour.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And if my voice sounds a little funny, it's I'm trying to beat the crap out of a cold, but hopefully by the time I get to the next microphone, it'll be fine.